Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it is just Marco here once again to review Michael, which is a movie about Michael Jackson. You know, what do you know? And I just got out of seeing this. It was actually a really cool experience. I saw it in IMAX, which I didn't even plan on seeing the movie, to be honest, but I saw the way that the media was trying to sabotage this film, and I saw, there's been new false accusers who've come out of the woodworks to capitalize on the movie coming out, and I just felt like I had to go see it to support Michael, to support the king. I've always been an avid fan of his music, and, you can tell that the allegations are all complete bullshit. And so, I really wanted to go see this movie, and I was really thankful that I saw it because it was so much fun to see in theaters, and it was so cool to see. I've never seen a music biopic in theaters. I don't think I've ever even seen an actual music biopic. All I do is I'll see clips here and there, and I'll see people talk about, like, well, this one was bad because there's this cringeworthy scene, or, there'll be like a top 10 list of, like, these are the top 10 worst music biopics because, look at these funny wigs that they wore or something. So this was really my first experience seeing one of these types of movies, and I couldn't be happier. It was actually, it was really hilarious because, nowadays, you have to watch like 40 minutes of trailers and commercials before you even see the actual movie. And in this case, all they did was play 3 or 4 trailers. There were no advertisements at all. And I was so shocked by that because I'm so used to going to the movies at the showtime, and then I'm sitting there and I have to sit through like an entire hour of commercials. And it was so odd to go there and to go right into the movie, basically. And it was so satisfying. Now, at first, I gotta say, I wasn't really into this movie at first. Like, I thought in the first act, I was kind of questioning. It kind of felt like there was a little bit too much music, a little bit too many scenes of just like singing and performances, and not enough like personal stuff, and getting into like who Michael Jackson is as a person, even as a kid. It just felt like it was very superficial. And this isn't a spoiler, so don't worry, this is the non-spoiler part. The spoiler part will be in like 10 or so minutes. So well, actually, you'll have to go to Patreon if you'd like to see the full spoiler discussion. But anyways, there's this scene where young Michael is telling his mom that kids don't see him as a person and they treat him like a celebrity. And the first thing I thought was like, okay, you've been really good with showing us all of these performances and all of these songs, but when you make a movie, you have to do what's called show not tell. And there are certain instances, like certain exceptions, but like in general, you need to show and not tell. And I really felt like there were meaty scenes that were missing from this movie throughout. It felt like why couldn't we see like a scene of him playing with kids, and they don't really want to play with them, they just want to take pictures, whatever. Why can't we see that? Why does it have to be told? Like, why do we have to? That's not good storytelling. But then as the movie went on, it kind of felt almost like the lack of personal stuff was almost like on purpose. It felt almost like the movie wasn't trying to really tell you about his life and tell you a lot about, like, you know, the characters. Like, we barely even really get to know his family except for his father and a little bit his mother. But, like, the movie's very much focused on the aura of Michael and the sort of power that he brought as an artist and a creative. And excuse me, sorry. And I guess this movie was mainly about him stepping into his own. So it wasn't really like a traditional biopic in the sense of, you know, this kind of melodrama that we've seen before with, like, people's life stories. I would say, for example, if you want to see a biopic with a lot of substance, you should watch The Founder. The Founder is a movie about Ray Kroc, the guy who stole McDonald's from the original owners. Well, he didn't quote-unquote steal it, but he basically stole it. And that movie is nothing but substance. You know, because, I mean, you couldn't, there's no fluff there. There's no fluff to, you know, oh, I founded McDonald's. You know, you have to tell a story. And in Michael, in the Michael Jackson movie, though, it's the opposite. It's like the story is his music, and the story is his performances. And I think what they were trying to do as well is they were trying to show that, like, the best moments of his life, it seemed, was when he was on stage and when he was performing. And almost like what he did on stage reflected everything else outside of that. You know, like the way that, well, actually, I can't get into specifics right now, but, like, I guess that's my interpretation of it. So when the movie was over, though, I mean, the movie was so loud. The seats in the theater were shaking. They were vibrating. I mean, it was a powerful movie. And that last performance, it really stuck the landing. The last scene of the movie, you know, it just feels like it just leaves you with a really hopeful, positive, and just empowering feeling. And I think that that's what a lot of movies should do. Like, in terms of the ending is something that a lot of movies nowadays they're really not sticking the landing. They think a lot about, like, starting off a movie, but when it comes to the ending, there's a lot of really poor endings nowadays. And really what it almost seems like is they think that the power of the ending is the title card. Like, oh, look, we didn't have an opening credits sequence, so here's the title card at the end of the movie. Like, that's what they see as like the highlight of the end. And, you know, you need to have a strong ending to have a good movie. Because a lot of people, when they think about a movie, the first thing they think about is, how did it end? How did it stick the landing? And this movie, I think, stuck the landing. So overall, I highly enjoyed this movie. I had a lot of fun with it, as I said before. I do think, though, I wish that I could, you know, learn more about his life besides just this stuff. Like, it reminds me of, like, these celebrity biographies and things. And see, this is a legitimate problem, because there needs to be a way for filmmakers to be able to tell people's stories without just telling like the surface level stuff. Like, you mean to tell me that, like, listen, I don't believe any of the allegations at all. I don't believe them in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I think that, another thing that this movie shows, by the way that people have acted and the media have acted, all that, I think that it's shown that, this cancel culture business and these false allegations, Me Too bullshit, it really has a permanent, long-lasting impact on people's lives. Because, it's years later now, and all of that stuff, who cares? Like, it's all bullshit. All of it was disproven. But still, people won't let it go, and people are acting like it's the truth, even though it's not. And so, in some ways, I really love the fact that this movie was just a giant middle finger to all those people who still perpetuate those lies. I love the fact that the movie it's really like a love letter to Michael's music, and there's so many songs too. That he has so many songs in his catalog that, like, it's almost too much. There's so many perfect songs, and even at the end of the movie, like, there's still songs that, like, you'd like to see on screen that you didn't get to see, and maybe you'll get to see them in the sequel. And so I think that's another great thing, is that there's so many great songs that he has, and the movie just it dropped its balls out to show you, like, look, this is what he's got. He's got it all. I mean, that's why he really is the greatest of all time. I mean, I fully believe that. I can't really think of any single artist who really comes close to what Michael was. And so I really, again, I'm very happy I saw the movie. And another thing too, I loved Jafar Jackson's performance. I was kind of hesitant because he does look a little bit different than Michael, but he did such a great job. He gave, in my opinion, I would say it's an Oscar-worthy performance. I mean, he disappeared into that role. There's not a single moment of the movie where I felt like, damn, that just didn't work or that didn't fit. He became that character, and I think that's really, really impressive. Especially, isn't this like his first performance? Because, like, yeah, he did a great job, Yeah, I was really impressed with that because, even looking at my own work and some of my own things that I've done, I've been analyzing some of it, and I'll see these little moments where I'm like, no, that didn't fit, that didn't work, that was inconsistent with the character. And then I watched this, and there's not a single moment like that. Like, it is a perfect performance that this guy gave. So yeah, but as I was saying earlier, you mean to tell me that Michael Jackson is so perfect that, like, he liked ice cream. You mean to tell me that he never spilled his ice cream on the carpet or something? Like, you mean to tell me that he never got caught, like, whacking off in his room? Like, there's got to be some kind of, like, hey, like, even though this is about, like, a really beloved celebrity, there's got to be vulnerability. There's got to be imperfection and flaws. And I didn't see any flaws in this character of Michael in this movie. Like, I wish that we could have just gotten something. Like, maybe when he was a teenager, I don't know, like and look, I'm not saying that he did this or not. I'm just saying something like this. Like, maybe when he was a teenager, he TP'd people's houses on Halloween. Like, you just gotta show something just show like some little thing that he did, like just to show that like he's not like, because really the movie, it really was like a giant middle finger. It was like, look, this guy, he became something that was bigger than himself or anyone. He became an icon, and it was really about telling the story about how a little boy turned into an icon. And so I guess that's about all I have to say in terms of spoilers. And so in terms of food, I would give this movie, as it turns out, apparently one of his favorite foods is enchiladas. And funnily enough, I actually had enchiladas the past 2 days. And so I'd like to give this movie enchiladas because it really felt like if Michael Jackson was alive, he would have loved this movie. He would have been very happy with it being like a celebration of him. And enchiladas, I feel like everyone loves enchiladas, like they are so good. I mean, I add all these toppings now. I'm adding onions, salsa, sour cream, pico de gallo. I'm adding I'm adding all of this stuff. And you know what else is good? Green sauce. Everyone usually thinks about red sauce with enchiladas, but I gotta say that I think that green sauce is the better topping. I think that green sauce is like 1,000 times better. It's so good, you could actually eat it all by itself. I mean, it's that good. And so that's how much I enjoyed this movie. It was like a comfort food of a movie. There were no cringeworthy biopic scenes either. Or maybe there was like one. Like those cliche types of scenes that you hear about all the time, like where an artist thinks about the title of something and they come up with the iconic title. Thankfully, there weren't very many scenes like that, if any. So yeah, that's about all that I have to say about Michael Jackson. I mean, the movie, the first movie. I can't wait to see the sequel. And so yeah, so now, if you'd like to see the rest of this video, please go over to Patreon and become a member. I promise you that you will not regret it.